We have got time to talk about Beergate, Benjamin. This is in the mail, because I tell you what, the number of people who email and tweet and say, why is more not being done about Keir Starmer and that party?
So this was last year, and it was Keir Starmer having a beer in a Durham Labour MP's office. Now, Durham police force said they didn't want to investigate, but now there's been a complaint. Now, the Daily Mail's front page shows that Angela Rayner was at the same office on that day. Now, she was speaking via Zoom, and she wasn't there at the same time, it appears.
Oh, she wasn't there at the same time?
No, there's no suggestion of that in the Daily Mail story. However, the Labour Party didn't confess that she'd been there, so you ask the question of why didn't they tell the truth about her having been there. And so, you know, I think the Daily Mail is trying to raise the question of whether there's a double standard. I have to say, you know, the Times reports that the police aren't going to reinvestigate it. It does, I think it's got more to do with the local elections and trying to help turn out Conservative voters than it has the law. But clearly a lot of people feel a bit frustrated that maybe it wasn't investigated fully.
I mean, it does beg a question. You could understand why people are saying, well, if it's a cake and something else for the Prime Minister and there's all these fines and hoo-ha, and it's apparently a cake and beer for Keir Starmer and no one seems to care.
No, exactly. I mean, I'm very conflicted on this story because on the one hand, I couldn't care less, you know, who had a slice of cake. Or most of the quotes, I think, are very funny because they say, Keir Starmer had some sips of beer. You know, I'd have a bit more respect for him if he'd actually downed the bottle in one. But, you know, on the one hand, I couldn't care less. Who cares? But at the same time, Keir Starmer has milked this. You know, he's banged on and on about who in number 10 had a slice of cake, when and where with whom for weeks now. And not only that, but Keir Starmer and the Labour Party were there banging on, making sure that lockdowns were kind of tighter, more restrictions, lasted longer. You know, they championed lockdowns every single step of the way. And now they're turning around and saying, you know, well, don't accuse us of having done anything wrong. It's the hypocrisy, yet again, that I think really stinks.